Yeah, I mean, look, it's very simple. There's a fixed supply asset, and if demand increases, the US dollar price value has to go up. And what we're seeing now is historically there was tons of retail investors that were coming in with retail dollars, but now every single financial institution and corporation are asking the question, what is our Bitcoin strategy? And when they show up, Tesla shows up with $1.5 billion. Michael Saylor shows up with $1 billion. JP Morgan, Guggenheim, hundreds of millions of dollars. And so I think that naturally what you're going to just see is continued upward price movement to accommodate everyone because the existing holders don't want to sell. And so, again, 100K I think is a milestone on a much longer journey. Where it goes and on what time frame, who knows? But I think that it's pretty crazy that, just a couple of months ago it was 12K and now we're sitting here and it's, $55,000, $60,000. So everyone thinks of Bitcoin and they look at the upside. Oh, how much could it go up in US dollar value? But actually, if you look at it the other way, right, and we could talk about some of the kind of inflation concerns that probably you and I both have, you start to say, wait a second, the dollar actually may be the riskier asset out of these two. If you look at your bond portfolio, there's not a lot of bonds you can hold right now that are going to really retain value in the same way. And so I just say to people, look, zoom all the way out and look at a 10-year track record, right? Bitcoin has grown in US dollar terms at a 200% compound annual growth rate. 200% a year for 10 years, right? 12 years, whatever it's been. And you can say all that you want in terms of, oh, that's because it started out really small and, there was no exchanges or whatever, and it grew. Well, the compound annual growth rate over the last 10 years has been going up this year, right? It started out the year at like 196%, and now it's at like 205. And so naturally, you're just getting this upward movement. And so I think that ultimately what you're starting to see, whether it's MicroStrategy, Square, Tesla, etc., is absolutely the founders or the CEOs of these businesses happen to be individuals who are forward-thinking, who are technology kind of minded, and they see that they're not going to go put 50%, but they're going to put a percentage, whether that's 1% up to, Tesla thinks got 7-8%. Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy is taking a very different approach. He's saying, listen, I'm going to get the market to give me free dollars, right, at 0% interest rates, and I'm going to take that as free dollars that are guaranteed to lose value over time. I'm going to convert it to this sound money, this digital sound money. And I think that what we're about to see, and again, I don't know exact timing, I don't know who kind of will break the dam even further, but I think we're about to see a lot of people do this. Why would you not take free money that you can then go convert to sound money and essentially watch it continue to appreciate? And so I think that what this is going to happen is this is going to go from, on Wall Street, what was a contrarian idea has now transitioned to a consensus idea. Everyone has a Bitcoin strategy or is trying to figure out what it is. In corporate America with the treasurers, what you're about to see is we're probably on the precipice of the transition from contrarian idea to consensus idea. And when that happens, they're going to bring a lot of dollars with them, right? And so I think that you're just going to continue to see this super aggressive upwards price movement over some period of time. Maybe it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, who knows what it is. I'm sure that there will be a blow off top at some point, kind of Q4 this year, Q1 next year, whatever. But the key at that point is going to be Bitcoin's not going to die. It's not going to go to zero, right? It's not a Ponzi scheme, a bubble in the sense that it's going to pop and go to zero. Instead, what you're going to see is you're going to see the consolidation again at some new floor of the value of the asset. And then we're going to go through it all over again because in 2024, we got another halving, another supply shock coming. And so it's just this crazy, beautifully designed asset that I think now you're starting to see Wall Street, you're starting to see corporations wake up to. And here's the crazy part that you'll understand that some other listeners may not, is Bitcoin's probably the only asset that as it goes up in price, it actually becomes more attractive to the corporations because now it's getting to be big enough where they can actually play in it. And that's a wild concept, right? Because most assets, it's the exact opposite.
You see, when the Treasury prints $4 trillion that it doesn't have, that gets it from 15 to 50. I would bank on my reasoning as much as the speculative. When you print $4 trillion and what, they're going to make it back with a 1% wealth tax? I mean, are you kidding me? I think that there's no coincidence between the amount of money that we're printing and and this run. And therefore, I don't think the run is over because we're obviously going to have to print to pay for all the printing. And every time you print to pay for all the printing, it makes Bitcoin worth more.
Of course. It is the check to undisciplined monetary policy. So I think that, the key piece for people to understand is look, Bitcoin is going to be the global reserve currency. It's going to serve as that kind of world currency you talked about. But people are trying to figure out this technology. What else can I add to it? And I think we got to be careful, because just like when there's always this highly innovative, disruptive technology, people will take it and they'll use it for good and they'll use it for bad. Right. And a lot of times it's hard to tell who's who, because you got good actors and bad actors all kind of doing similar things. And so I think we want to encourage the innovation, want to encourage the experimentation, but we also want to call out the people who are just doing cash grabs or who are just doing things that kind of are malicious. Right. And so I think that's where you're seeing a lot in the community around debate and kind of controversy. It's just like, what is kind of the things that people should be doing versus the things that people shouldn't be doing? But I think Bitcoin obviously has kind of risen above everything in terms of market cap. And now you're seeing kind of exploration in these other areas, and some of it will work and some of it won't.